just made a new agent in FlowAgents called Network Visualization as MindMap. All right, so we're going to look at the agent, but first I want to show you that on the IAG platform, I did a git clone and brought in the MarkMap customized for this platform, MCP. I registered it here, and I can run it here and test it here. It is the first Node.js MCP that I've installed, and it runs just fine. So I'm going to actually switch into the MarkMap output folder, and we're going to switch away from the terminal because I actually have it connected here in VS Code. So we're going to keep an eye on this MarkMap output folder. Excuse me. And here's the prompt. So the system prompt that you're, an IE level network automation agent specializing in infrastructure discovery and documentation using PyATS Genie. Its prime responsibilities, what I want it to gather, and then the actual user, right? Perform a full network discovery and generate visual documentation for the device name, critical instructions to use the MarkMap output tool, just to make it a little more deterministic to call the MarkMap workflow. We've bound the PyATS show command, and we've bound the project, and in the project I have this very deterministic workflow with the variables needed to connect this MCP for visualization. So let's go ahead and run the agent, and I am going to just come back because we don't need to sit here and watch it churn, but it does only take a few minutes. So I'll be right back. Okay, so the flow agent is done, and it took about 2 minutes, 12 tool calls, and some of these are the PyATS show commands, as you would expect. And then further down, though, we're calling the MarkMap tool, and you can see that this is for the Network Discovery 3. So I asked it for 3 different reports, and I did get 3 different. Here's the summary of everything that it did, and the MarkMaps generated: Executive Overview MarkMap, Interface and Addressing MarkMap, Routing Table MarkMap, Key Findings, right? So here are the different MarkMaps that we got. Now let me try to make this a little easier for everyone to see. Right, so this is the platform information, the interface summary, and some key interfaces about this device. Right, in less than 2 minutes, it discovered all of this information with PyATS and used the MarkMap. Now we're going to go to one of the more detailed MarkMaps here, and we can just collapse that, right, for the sub interfaces, and we have all the sub interfaces with their IP address and status here. We've got loopback interfaces, physical interfaces, virtual interfaces, unassigned sub interfaces, some sub interfaces without IP addresses. So it's trying to give us some insight, even it's trying to help us. And then the routing MarkMap. And you saw me build the agent and run the agent. So the point-to-point links, everything on connected routes, everything in local routes, the dynamic routes, static routes, and a routing summary. Right? Pretty cool, just from the agent. Now I can refresh that at any time by just managing the agent and running the network topology, running the network visualization agent. I just hit run agent and it will refresh that. Again, the tools I'm using, a couple of PyATS tools, and my project, which has this deterministic workflow component to make the folder and where to store the data and how to connect it back to the IAG platform. All right, thanks again.